Today we're talking about your email list and how to use your email list to nurture, not to sell, not to push things on them, but to nurture and actually strengthen that relationship and have higher sales conversion. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about, the things that you're going to learn here are going to be a little bit different than what you might have heard before in any sales or marketing training. But by the end of the video, I think it'll make sense and you'll understand why we do it this way. We're going to start out talking about theory, kind of the why behind everything that we do. Then we'll actually get into the nitty-gritty of the details and the numbers and how we actually implement this. So I don't know about you, but I get a lot of spam, pushy, promotional emails. I unsubscribe to different email lists every single day. I don't subscribe to a lot, I'm just getting added to a lot of lists. And that's kind of a part of the problem. If I know that I didn't opt into a list, and now they start to email me, even if it's valuable content, even if it's helpful, I think, wait a minute, they just manually added me to their list, or they bought a list from somebody, and I'm turned off by that. I want to unsubscribe from those people. So keep that in mind, that you don't need to do any of those things to build your email list. We're assuming that you're not doing any of that. Okay, for the sake of this video, we're talking about people that have found you on YouTube, that have opted in, right? They've gotten your lead magnet, they've followed your call to action on your landing page, they've put in their information, and now they know who you are, that it's fresh on their mind. They just did it today or they just did it yesterday. So what do you email these people? How do you communicate with them, right? What you've probably seen and what you might be tempted to do is to now let them know about your products and programs, right? You've given away all this free content on YouTube, so now we need to let them know what we're selling and we need to give them offers, right? No, especially if we're leading towards a high ticket sale. We'll just say like a $10,000 coaching program. You're never gonna sell that in an email. You're never gonna sell that on a landing page. We need to build a relationship. We need to continue giving value. Imagine the difference of that type of email experience, right? You open an email and it's valuable. That's actually what people want. When people go to their inbox in email, they're looking to have an email experience. This isn't even a time to promote your YouTube videos, right? So you're not necessarily selling your products or programs. You're not asking for money, right, for them to buy something. But if you're suggesting, hey, I just launched a new episode, you should go watch it, you're selling your own videos. You're selling your own channel. And that's not what they're in their inbox for. Let me give a comparison. When they go to Facebook, they're looking to have a Facebook experience. They're in that environment. They know what posts they're used to seeing. They know the people that they're used to hearing from. If they go to TikTok, right, they know the experience they're planning on having there. If they open up a podcast, they know the experience they're planning on having there, right? They might open a podcast while they're running or driving. They might open YouTube when they're ready to sit down and learn or to watch something. With email, there's a couple things that we do. We sort through, we're used to kind of sorting through the spam and throwing away the promotions, throwing away the junk. And oftentimes we have that automated as much as possible. But the experience we're really looking to have is who communicated with me today. Like, we love it when we get personal emails, when we get emails from people that we know. And imagine they now know you and they get an email from you and they open it up and they are not being sold to. They're getting more value, right? They just searched for something on Google or YouTube. They found your video, they got an answer to their question, then they get an email from you and there's more answers to their question. There's more help. And they think, wow, this person is amazing. I'm glad I found this person, right? That's what we want. That's our goal. So you want to write an email. Maybe you could transcribe some content from one of your episodes, but deliver it in the form of an email. You don't need them to go to YouTube. If they're going to go anywhere, you want them to go to your website, right? If they're on Facebook, you don't want to send them to YouTube and then have them go to your website. If they're on Facebook, do Facebook marketing, get them to go directly to your website. If they're on YouTube, you don't want to send them over to Facebook. They're at competition. That just doesn't work. All of these places that are like your first contact, whether it's YouTube or a podcast or social media, you want those to send people to your website, and that's where they join your email list. Now, from your email list, that's where you strengthen that relationship. You don't send them back to social media or to YouTube or to your podcast. Now, how frequently should you be emailing people? Okay, I recommend, and I learned this from Noelle Randall, that when somebody freshly joins your email list, they're a brand new sign up for your email list, start emailing them every single day. Now, if we're not selling, this is okay. And they want it. They just opted in. And 1 email a day isn't actually that much. It's not as high pressure as you might think because they went to YouTube, they just spent 10 minutes with you. They can open an email. If it's valuable, even if they don't read the whole thing, they've had a good experience. They have a good experience. Oh, I would just send all this value. Maybe I'll read that in detail later, and then they leave. The next day they get an email from you. Like, you're conditioning them to know that you give valuable content. You're helping. You're not pushing sales on them. Noelle actually sends out 40 emails. So I put up 4 fingers, but 40 emails in a row, 40 days. So she'll send out a daily email for 40 days, and every one of these emails is giving value. Now, every 3rd or 4th email, you can invite them to have a chat. After you've given value, you say, hey, would you value having a conversation with me? Should we jump on Zoom and have a strategy session? That is such an effective way of strengthening a relationship and getting them in a place where it's the right environment to have that sales conversation. Now, just like Noelle Randall, I don't like considering those sales calls. I don't tell people, you want to jump on a sales call with me? I mean, one, that sounds terrible. I would never want to jump on a sales call with somebody else. I mean, very rare occasion, unless I'm specifically looking for something and I want to quote. With a strategy session, you're not talking about the programs right up front. You might not even talk about them at all. It's a helpful conversation. You're giving more value, but it's like a diagnosis. In this consultation, you're finding out where they are and where they're trying to get to. And you're saying, is there a gap, and is what I have to offer a solution? And if that picture is clear, if you see that, yeah, I have a solution, then you can start to talk about your offer. And we're going to have another episode all about the strategy session. So hopefully you can see the whole picture with this, right? The environment we create on YouTube is of giving value. The environment we create in the email list and sending out emails every single day, that's of giving value and strengthening that relationship and giving occasional invitations to have a conversation. And in that conversation, we're giving value. We're strengthening that relationship. And if there's no sale made, it's a positive experience. We still might get referrals from that person. Let's talk about the tactics of this. Like, if you have a series of 40 emails, how do you manage all of that? Do you just write down all the list of people that opt in and that want to hear from you, and so you manually go in and copy and paste? We know that there are things called autoresponders. There's ActiveCampaign, which is one of my favorites. There's MailChimp, which has gained a lot of popularity, and it's real simple, real easy to use. They each have their different budgets and costs. MailChimp is a great place to start. There's the complex ones like Infusionsoft, now known as Keep. What they all have in common is you can set up an email one time, and it allows you to tag people or sign people up for specific lists. You can have multiple different lists or even different segments of people that have opted in, so that people that are interested in about one thing, you can email them about one thing. In this scenario, if people have found you on YouTube, they've learned about your expertise, they want your free gift, then they've opted in, and now you can just start emailing them every day. So you can create a sequence or a series of 40 emails that will happen automatically. You say on day 1, send this email. Day 2, send this email. I encourage you to explore the features and do some testing, do some experimenting, because there's some things that you can do. Here's an example. Let's say you send out an email to 1,000 people, but you notice only 15% open that email. So that would be 150 people, right? Well, what about the other 850? You can actually resend an email if it's an important one or something like that. You want to make sure, man, as many of this 1,000 people, I want them to open this one. Resend it to the 850, change the subject line. Okay, so I'm not saying that do that every time, but I do encourage you to experiment. See the reaction, see how many unsubscribes you get. Now, don't be afraid of people unsubscribing from your list. If you're not having people unsubscribe, then you're not communicating enough. You're not sending out enough email. Now, why do Noelle and I only go to 40 for these daily emails? Well, we kind of figure if you've emailed somebody daily for 40 days and they haven't jumped on a strategy session with you yet, then they're probably not going to anyway. And also, it's a lot of work to write 40 emails worth of content. So after that, we typically spread it out to an email every week. We want to stay top of mind when the time is right. We want them to know that we're still there, we still exist. We don't need to bombard them anymore if it's not something that they've already opted into and we've had that strategy session. Now, another thing that your autoresponder can do is once they've opted in, they've scheduled a strategy session with you, you can potentially remove them from that list or move them to a list that they're now going to get emails once a week instead of every day. Leverage the tools like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign to automate these things for you. All of these tools pretty much have the same features, so the one that's really user-friendly, that's cost-effective for you, that'll be the best fit for you. The last thing that I want to talk about here is optimizing everything, right? You can track the numbers, you can actually look at the analytics and see which emails get open more, which ones have a higher open rate, which ones have a lower, and you can change the subject line. You can change the intro to the email and see if you can improve those. You can look at see which emails where I have a call to action or an invitation to jump on a strategy session, which emails trigger that the best. Should I move those up in the sequence? Should I change the sequence of my 40 emails? You can play around with your landing page and maybe do a split test between two different pages and see which one gets more people to join my email list. So this stuff sounds complicated. It can be complicated if you make it, but the software really makes it easy. Well, now, I have a gift for you. I want to give you my book for free. Now, we call this free plus shipping. So the cost to print a full color book is actually pretty expensive, a lot more expensive than I thought, but I had to do my book in color. As long as you pay the printing and the shipping costs wherever you are in the world, no profit to me. This book is my gift to you. Now, what is this book? This book is to help you leverage YouTube to generate leads for your business. And you know the story behind this book, the 2 years of work I put into it. This will help you generate typically about $10,000 for every 100 views you get on YouTube when you follow the steps in this book. So that's my gift to you. Go to natesyoutubebook.com.